Hey, Michael from Magnanimous here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Red Raven. This camera is ideal for any first-time Red shooters because of its low price point and streamlined capabilities. The Red Raven comes equipped with a Red Dragon 9.9 megapixel CMOS sensor with 16.5 stops of dynamic range. It is capable of recording red code RAW up to 120 frames per second in full 4.5K in a 15:1 compression, and up to 240 frames per second in 2K in an 8:1 compression. Every DSMC2 model now also features a built-in Apple ProRes and Avid DNx HD encoder, and with the Raven, you can shoot up to 60 frames per second in 2K ProRes 422HQ, or in 1080 up to 60 frames per second in DNx HD LB 8-bit. These are either available as your base recording or simultaneously as a proxy to your R3D files. We will dive more into setting up the ProRes DNx HD recording later on, but first let's take a look at the main body and some of its features. One of the first things you'll notice is size. Red has designed their DSMC2 line with a new universal compact and lightweight design, which has dropped the weight of the main brain and media bay to just 3.5 pounds. Starting at the front of the camera, the Raven features a locking native EF mount. The native EF mount means there will never be a need to back focus the camera, making lens swaps faster and easier. The EF mount also carries electronic communication, so any lenses that have an electronic aperture or fly-by-wire focus, such as Canon L-series lenses, can still be used. There are two cableless mounting points for the 4-inch touchscreen monitor, one on the top and one on the side of the camera. This is how you'll adjust settings, so find which one will work best for your setup. The top plate also features 4 1/4-20 mounting points for mounting accessories or a top handle, as well as the fans for the main cooling unit, so you'll want to make sure you keep those clear. The left side of the camera houses the media bay. The Red Raven utilizes the Red Mini Mag, which will be half the size and half the weight of the older 1.8-inch mags, but upwards of 50% faster. And all of our Red cameras will come equipped with the Red I/O V-Lock expander on the back. This expander finds a nice balance between additional inputs while maintaining the smaller form factor that makes these cameras so great. The V-mount plate is compatible with a wide variety of different batteries. Our kit will include 2 red brick batteries, and the red bricks will have an approximate runtime of 120 minutes when shooting 4K 24 frames per second, but the exact runtime will depend on your resolution, frame rate, and compression rate. In addition to power for the camera, the V-Lock expander features a 12-volt P-tap power outlet on the top of the plate, as well as a USB output on the back for powering accessories. Now, the P-tap output is only capable of a 12-volt output, so if you have any accessories that require a higher voltage, you should either power directly from a battery, such as our Anton Bauer Digital series, or find an alternate solution. A 3G SDI and HDMI output for external monitoring can be found on the rear of the expander. And something to note though, you are unable to use the HDMI output and side mount the monitor simultaneously, so make sure you plan accordingly. For audio, a 3.5mm stereo audio input is located on the top, as well as a stereo headphone jack for monitoring audio. Now that it's a stereo input, the camera is compatible with a wider range of microphones, such as our Rode VideoMic Pro or a Sennheiser G3 Lav kit. It is important to note though that the expander does not provide phantom power for higher end shotgun mics, so you'll likely want to pick up an external recorder for that. The bottom of the camera has 2 3/8-16 and 1 1/4-20 mounting point, making it compatible with almost any tripod. To attach a lens, we'll rotate the lens mount lock ring counterclockwise and press the release button on the right side of the lens mount. Line up and rotate the lens until you hear it click into place. Then rotate the lock ring clockwise to secure the lens. To power on the camera, we will need to attach our monitor to the top mounting plate and slide one of the red brick batteries onto the rear. Hold down the red record button on the right side of the camera. You will hear the fans kick on and the power light will be orange as it boots up. Once the camera is ready to go, the power light will turn green. Now, the menu structure of the DSMC2 line really hasn't changed, so those of you familiar with the older Red models will be able to jump right in. Top of the screen lists out all of our camera settings: frame rate, ISO, shutter speed, color temperature, resolution, and compression/codec. We can adjust any of these settings by simply tapping on them or navigating through the menu button on the top right. The system will auto-gray out any settings that are unavailable due to your resolution, frame rate, or compression settings. For example, at full 4.5K resolution and 24 frames per second, we can shoot as low as 3.1 compression. But as we increase our frame rate, you will see our available compression ratio changes, all the way to a 15:1 at our max 120 frames per second. This is due to the camera's data pipeline only being able to handle so much information from either resolution, frame rate, or compression at a time. It is up to you to determine which of these settings will be right for your production, but between a 5:1 and 8:1 compression are generally considered visually lossless. And I've found that a well-exposed image will hold up well even as high as 15:1. As standard with RED, any resolution setting lower than your system's max will be a crop of the highest resolution field, meaning a 50mm lens will have a tighter field of view at 2K than it will at 4.5K due to the sensor's crop. This isn't inherently as much a bad thing as it is something to be aware of and plan for. On the bottom, you will see a camera and play icon. This will tell you whether you are in camera or playback mode, and to switch, simply tap the icon. Below the icon, you will see your project frame rate. This demonstrates one of RED's strengths, as you can set your project rate separate from your shooting rate. This makes utilizing RED's higher frame rate options extremely easy, since you do not have to interpret or slow down footage once you get into your editing software. It's all done right in camera. Next to the project rate, you will see a histogram. RED's histogram has some unique features that will make finding exposure much easier. Keep in mind, an ideal exposure finds a balance between a low level of noise in the image and the most amount of information in your highlights. To help with this, the main histogram displays an overlay of each individual color channel, one for red, one for green, and one for blue. On the left and right of the histogram, you will see additional information and what are called goalposts. The left goalpost is a guide to the camera's ability to discern real texture from noise. As the red bar increases in height, the level of noise increases as well. Generally, you're able to push it to about 50% and maintain an acceptable level of noise. The right represents highlights and the amount of overall pixels that have become clipped. Unlike the left goalpost, even a small amount of clipping on the right can be unacceptable depending on where the clipping is happening in the image. I recommend utilizing the right goalpost in conjunction with zebras so that you're able to see where in your image the clipping is occurring. To turn on zebras, simply hit the menu in the top right, go to Overlays, Tools, and then Zebras. Click the checkbox next to zebra and you can then set your desired strength. You can even run two separate zebras simultaneously by setting Zebra 2. This way, you can gain as much information about how the camera's sensor is seeing your image. In the center of the lower status bar, you will see system status indicators for a variety of different settings, such as HDRX, timecode, Genlock, and more. Moving right of this, you will see a percentage of the remaining space left in the RED Mini Mag. Currently, we have 100% space remaining, but as we shoot, you will see that drop. The camera will not display record time, as that can vary heavily depending on your frame rate and compression. I recommend picking up RED's free app called RED Tools. This comes loaded with helpful tools, my favorite of which is an R3D record time calculator. You can plug in all of your camera settings and it will tell you your max record time. For instance, let's plug in a max 4.5K, 120 frames per second, at a 15:1 compression on a 240GB mag. With that, you'll see we have an approximate record time of 34 minutes. And that 34 minutes runs by fast and lessens even more if you utilize ProRes proxy recording. So I always recommend bringing along extra media. It's also important to always remember to eject your media before you pull the mini mag. Failing to do so can corrupt or damage the files. You can eject by either navigating through the menu to Media and then Device. Here we can format the mag or eject media. A pop-up window will let you know when the mag is safe to remove. You can also access this via a shortcut by simply pressing and holding on the SSD percentage readout. Audio with the Red DSMC2 line has gotten even easier, as each camera now features 2 integrated dual-channel digital stereo microphones, capable of uncompressed 24-bit 48 kHz recording. You can use this individually as scratch audio or in addition to the 3.5mm input found on the expander for a max of 4 total channels. We can adjust our audio settings by going to the menu, Settings, Audio, and then Control. You can change the source for each channel by selecting the tab for the desired channel pair and then selecting from the drop-down menu. Your 3 options will be Camera Internal, Rear Analog, and None. You will also see tabs for adjusting the preamp gain of each individual channel and the headphone volume. Similar to the media, you can quickly access the audio control menu by clicking and holding on the top of the audio meters. One of the greatest strengths of the DSMC2 line comes from its ability to shoot not only in Red Code RAW, but ProRes and DNx HD. To adjust your codec, open the menu, Settings, and Recording. Here, we can go to Codec, open the drop-down menu, and choose between R3D, Apple ProRes, Avid DNx HD, or a combination of R3D with ProRes proxy or R3D with DNx HD proxy. Note that the proxy recording for ProRes is only available up to 60 frames per second. If you adjust your frame rate higher, the camera won't stop you, but a red pop-up will say ProRes disabled, and you will see red lettering at the top of the screen. The DNx HD codec is more flexible as a proxy, so you can shoot at higher frame rates than 60, but the codec will only be recorded in a fraction of the frame rate. That will be displayed at the top of the screen in yellow lettering. The addition of these encoders grants you significantly more flexibility, as you can shoot straight in ProRes, bypassing the RAW workflow, or utilize both to send proxies to your editor and use R3D files for coloring and finishing. Now you know the basics you need to get out and shoot with the Red Raven. Keep a lookout for more videos on our Red gear, and if you guys have any questions or would like to book this camera, give us a call or visit magrents.com.